Hello everyone and welcome back to the Great Book of Grudges. My name is Nathan and we're back with another Total War Warhammer video. Today I want to have a discussion about Boris Ursus and whether or not he may be dead in the Total War Warhammer universe. I am of course making the distinction between the tabletop universe and the video game universe, as both are set in the 8th edition timeline more or less, as Boris by around this point has been dead for a few years now. Boris was always considered to be a rather popular character, and with good reason of course. He is indeed the Tsar of Kislev. Many people expect him to be featured in the Total War Warhammer series due to his impressive feats, such as reuniting his country and being instrumental with the revival of the Urson bear cult, as for a small time the worship of Urson had been diminished over the worship of other gods such as Ulrich and Tal, foreign gods to the Kislevites at that. His bond of brotherhood with his mount Erskine gave him great fame throughout Kislev, with many Kislevites believing that he had been chosen by Urson himself. There are many reasons as to why this character was so well liked. The main reason of course was the fact that he was a large and in charge character riding a massive bear into battle. And while it was like that on the tabletop game, there seems to be a few hints to suggest that Boris may be dead and that he might not be a playable character in the Total War Warhammer series. The biggest hint here is in the actual announcement trailer for the third and final game of the series. Let's just take the time now to view a specific part of that trailer.
My child, there is so much to tell you that I have run out of time. The sacrifice I made was not enough. The dark gods still feed on our transgressions. Corruption. Obsession. Deceit. Rage. You must face these demons.
So the voiceover in this clip is obviously Boris speaking directly to his daughter in the form of a letter. Specifically, these words ring out to me. My child, there is so much to tell you, but I have run out of time. The sacrifice that I have made was not enough. That already says 1,000 words with just so few. It's a type of letter that you would expect a dying father to give to his daughter, especially knowing full well that now she must rule as Tsarina. It's a warning that the Chaos powers themselves are getting more powerful. Of course, in this clip we do also see that the Tsarina has a black eye, so it's very much possible that both the Tsar and his daughter were leading counterforces against the forces of Chaos. Perhaps Boris had led an incursion north in an effort to stop whatever was happening in the realms of Chaos. As we are aware, we are tasked with either saving or exploiting the power of a dying god. But generally, with regards to the basic fantasy trope which Warhammer Fantasy generally follows, a letter such as this always brings ill omen, and it could indeed mean that Boris has been slain in his campaign. We don't know exactly what's happened, but I'm assuming this might be the case. We're also very likely to get more information as we get closer and closer to the game's actual launch. But this isn't the only clip that suggests this. The following clip is from Games Workshop, the original creators of Warhammer Fantasy Battles, where they talked about their involvement in the creation of new concept arts, units, and so on. It is important to note that Games Workshop is of course quite involved with Total War Warhammer. This is their IP after all, and one of their longest standing ones. Well, it's been dead for a few years officially, but it's returning in the form of Warhammer the Old World.
I think building up the background for the Kislev army has been a real joy, just because they were once an add-on to the Empire army, and you saw a couple of like units, the Lancers, the Ice Queen, and it was really going in depth into that army and finding out what a whole army of Kislev would be like, adding new things that people haven't seen before, creating characters that people haven't even imagined, and me adding a different units have always been, oh, I've always wanted to see one of this unit. Wouldn't it be great if we had a unit of bears, or we had a unit of bear riders? And it's allowing me to sort of play in that sandpit of the old world and come up with new creations.
So through this clip, we learn that Games Workshop was heavily involved with the creation of Kislev, making the backgrounds, new units, and so on. That's to be expected, of course, as Kislev was long announced for the old world before the announcement of Total War Warhammer 3. Something of interest to note here is that he specifically mentions Ice Queen. That is indeed referring to the Tsarina herself, Catherine. I'm assuming that they're following some early lore from 6th edition, where Boris had led an expedition north and unfortunately was slain, with of course his daughter by birthright taking on the role of Tsarina. Her subjects would call her the Ice Queen due to her powerful magical ability and all around being quite a cold person personality wise too. But both of the clips seem to heavily suggest that Boris himself is indeed dead. It could instead be very much just a throwback to the 6th edition lore, but I do have a feeling that he is indeed dead. Of course, this raises a few questions, as it's mostly expected that Kislev will have 2 different playable legendary lords. The Tsarina being one of them, as, well, she doesn't need to be confirmed, she was shown off in the trailer. There are indeed a few Kislevite characters that were introduced in early lore. It could be that they will be placed instead of Boris. My main reasoning with this is that the Tsarina is a gospodar, but there's also another culture of humans within Kislev, the Ungals, so it's very likely that we might see an Ungol character implemented, so we get one of each Kislevite culture. It would make sense if Boris was indeed dead, as it fits with the current timeline of the lore. Of course, lore has been changed for Total War Warhammer, but I'm assuming that most of the baseline important stuff would stay the same. But the way I see it, with the 2 clips we've seen, it is very heavily implied that Boris is no longer with us. But what do you guys think about this? Do you think Boris may still be alive, or do you think he's dead? Let me know what you think in the comments below, and let's start a bit of a discussion. But with that, my friends, we've come to the end of our video. Thank you so much for watching. If you did enjoy the video, might I suggest giving the video a like, or even subscribing to the channel, as it really does help us out. In the description section below are various links to different social media platforms such as Facebook, Instagram, and Discord. Also in the description section is an affiliate link with Element Games where you could buy loads of hobby-based products, not just Warhammer, for 10 to 25% off. Making a purchase using that link and also our special code, which is also in the description, supports the channel at no extra cost to you, which we think is rather cool. A big thank you to our patrons. Your support means the world to us. It's amazing that people want to help a small channel like us grow and get to a higher level of content. A big thank you to Gibraltar LUSC, Ryan Bertsche, Andrew Prince, and Okro for subscribing to us at our Fame level. You guys are super cool. And a big thank you to Edward Yule, VS Vasan, Aaron Whitman, and Shaggy for subscribing to us at our King level. Honestly, we can't thank you all enough. And lastly, a big thank you to all of you for liking, sharing, and commenting on these videos. Honestly, it's because of you guys that the channel's been growing at such a great pace lately, so we can't thank you all enough. But with that, my friends, thank you so much for watching once again, and we shall see you all again very, very soon. Have a good day.